You are most welcome inside the locker room on a hump of the week, Wednesday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. The Smooth Breakfast is what you're listening to. Ayokunmi is who you are listening to at the moment, getting you set for a world of great sporting action, great sporting news coming your way every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15. This is what we do. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, you are most welcome to one of the greatest rides on Lagos radio. Believe me when I say that it's going to be a great one, a lot of things to get through and talk about. But I never do this on my own. I lie, not possible, because I have the one and only heavyweight champion of the world, sporting Amazon herself, Tega Supreme, is in the building. Good morning to you, Tega. Yeah, muted, Tega.
Ayo, I don't even know what's happening to me.
It happens to the best of us. It happens.
And I finished with one nice intro like this. I've forgotten it. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you've had a great week so far. Today is Wednesday, which means the postponed Merseyside derby is taking place today. We'll
Hmm.
be talking about that. Also, the UEFA Champions League. My goodness, just when Manchester City thought they had caught a break, Rico Lewis came with that. In fact, we need to cut that his hairstyle. Fresh air will enter because nobody, nobody can tell me that that was not. See how he lazily launched his leg to try and block ball that he should have easily put himself in position to stop. We'll talk about that match on today's show. We'll also talk about other matches coming up today and what um, Dembele likes. We have found out specifically who he is because he scored a brace against a certain club, and from history with that particular club, he likes to score against them. It's just coincidental that the club has the same pronunciation with an anatomy of the body. So we'll talk about him being that man. All right. So all of that and more coming in. But in the WTA, blood on the dance floor. We'll talk about
Hmm.
what's happening in Doha and more inside the locker room. Before we do any talking, Ayokumi, how can we be a part of this locker room? Because I want to hear from the people what they think on these things.
All right, we'd love to hear from you. We always do. So please, you can send us messages, give us a call, or join us on YouTube. Now, for messages on WhatsApp, the number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. The studio line is 0201 4489981. 0201 4489981. To join us on YouTube, we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That is, yes, that's YouTube, Smooth 981 FM Lagos on YouTube. Uchenna Oweko is already ready, planted right there, seated with popcorn and ready to go. Welcome, Uchenna. But before we talk about anything on YouTube or WhatsApp, let's get into the groove and let's talk some tennis here because, Tega, as you said, blood on the dance floor as world number one, Arena Sabalenka, and number three, Coco Golf have both, yes, both been knocked out in the second round of the Qatar Open. We said Wild Wild West is wildest West now.
I'm telling you, because it's the second round of the Qatar Open, but it's the first match for both. Because as those highly ranked players, they have a bye in the first round, so they don't play the first round. They play the second round. So this was literally their first time of stepping on the court, and they were soundly beaten. Um, Sabalenka was beaten by Alexandrova, who came in via qualifying, I think, Seth. Um,
Hmm.
and she was beaten in the third set. Sabalenka led 4-2 in the third set. She had an early break in the third set. Alexandrova broke back and held her nerve to win the tiebreaker. So it wasn't a question of, oh, it was one of those bad days in the office. Sabalenka played good tennis. Alexandrova just stopped it. She's like, I'll meet you there, wherever you want to go. Let's go.
Hmm.
That was the attitude. Now, I don't know if she would have the firepower to stay through to the end because she played lights out tennis yesterday. She fought everything. She chased down every ball. It was it was inspiring to see. But what she did was to knock out Sabalenka in the first match that Sabalenka played in Doha. Now, the good news for Sabalenka is she doesn't have many points to defend in this tournament. The person who has a lot of points to defend in this tournament is Iga Swiatek. She won it last year. So she has to defend her 1,000 points this year. She is the one with the hard job. Coco Gauff, on the other hand, shockingly, has not been in as great a form when the year started. With the way she came on court, working on her service motion, I expected bigger things for her this year. But the Australian Open, to me, I mean, by her standard, she'll say it was good performance. And yes, by every standard, it should be calculated as good performance. But for my expectation for what she did from the end of last season to this season, I actually did think I was going to see her go far. She was one of my contenders to win
Right.
the Australian Open, and then to get knocked out again in the first match, or second round of the tournament, but first match for her on this surface is a little baffling. So she does have some work to do to try and get back into form and deliver on the potential that she really has. But yes, it's already a tough time out in Doha, and if you're not watching the WTA, you're missing a lot in tennis.
Hmm. Definitely missing a lot in tennis, as we've said time and again, the wilder, not wildest west, because it seems like anyone can beat anyone on the women's side of things. It's absolutely bonkers what's going on in the world of tennis right now. Let's talk about what's going on in the world of Formula One. 2 months after leaving Red Bull following the disappointing 2024 campaign, Sergio Perez is working towards a return to Formula One with Cadillac, per Spanish media outlet Marca.
Well, it was a tough one. I would say this anyway. Even to Christian Horner's face, they did Perez dirty.
Mm.
Red Bull did Sergio Perez dirty, and of course, once they started with that treatment of Verstappen is our priority, you are just the guy that should sit in the second car. It went downhill from there. So yes, a lot of his performances, especially last season, were mind-boggling. But when your mind is not in the right place, you don't feel like you're getting the right support. You want to do more, and you end up overdoing it and getting half the results that he did last season. So yes, from a performance point of view, they can come up with an argument, especially from last season, why they had to drop him. But ultimately, they did him dirty from the minute he signed with them. So, very tricky time out at Red Bull. But he had to leave at the end of the season, and there are only 12 constructors so far. There was nowhere else because there were no empty seats in the championship, and so he had to leave. A good driver, but no seats. However, he now has the opportunity to come back with another constructor. Hopefully, that's what they're reporting. We don't know. Nothing has been finalized, nothing yet cast in stone. So we wait to see how this turns out for him. But for me, it was sad to see a driver of his caliber not get a seat the next season, and to even see him suffer the way he did all of last season. So if he can get a seat back in F1, that would be great. And more importantly, if he can come back and enjoy his time in the sport, then that would even be better. But let's wait and see how this pans out for both of them.
Let's wait and see. Perez, a veteran, 35 years old, but he still has something to offer. I mean, looking at Cadillac, making or hiring a veteran driver is going to be priority for them. So fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
you say veteran, I say experience. You think about the Alonsos and the Lewis Hamiltons still driving. Remember how long Schumacher was in his seat for?
Oh,
And
yes.
what's the name of the other Finnish driver?
Kimi
What was
Raikkonen.
it? Kimi Raikkonen. You think of how long um they were in seats for, and to think that Sergio Perez kind of just bungled into the dark or stumbled into the dark. It was not a complimentary way to leave the sport. So if he gets an opportunity to at least enjoy the drive before he leaves, it'll be great.
Indeed, it will. All right, let's switch gears and talk about some football stories. And of course, the big ones that came up last night. The Champions League And we're heading to the Etihad Stadium where Jude Bellingham scored the winner in stoppage time as Real Madrid twice came from behind to inflict more misery on Manchester City with the 3-2 Champions League playoff first leg win on Tuesday.
Look, I think a lot of us expected that Real Madrid was completely going to beat Manchester City, but it didn't pan out that way. And I'm not going to give Manchester City any kudos because two of the goals they conceded, in fact, all three of the goals they conceded were basic defensive errors. It's the kind of defensive errors you see in inter-house sports. And you'll be like, okay, yeah, you'll be like, okay, this is the level. But for
Not even
professional
Principal's
football,
Cup.
not even principal inter-house sports. So think about it. The first goal Mbappe scored, he was running onto the ball. The guy that was marking him, I think he was this Dutch guy. What's his name with the hair? Why am I forgetting everybody's name this morning?
Nathan Ake.
Nathan Ake was standing and staring when Mbappe was moving. That was the man he was marking. That was the only thing he was supposed to be looking at on the pitch. But I think he started looking at the atmosphere. Maybe Etihad was beautiful, more beautiful last night than it usually is. I don't know. But Mbappe is on the move. That's the guy you're marking, and you let him run off. And then you start to look for some phantom offside. So basic schoolboy error, first goal. Mbappe did not hit the ball well, but the goalkeeper was already out of position, so it made it hard for him to now dive back to the other side of the pitch to get the goal. The second goal that they conceded, easy. Somebody just running onto the ball, and all Manchester City players standing and staring. Nobody was following the ball. Nobody was following the man. Again, schoolboy error. And then the third goal, like I said before we started the show properly, it was people say, oh, we have to blame Kovacic. No, no. Rico Lewis was the man that should have dealt with the threat because he saw the ball coming. He also saw the man coming. And instead of him to get into position, he lazily stretched out his leg. You have to understand that he's not one of the tallest people on the pitch. So stretching out that leg was not going to do anything. It's like me stretching out my leg. I'm only 5'3". I'm not reaching anything. So first of all, he saw the ball and he saw where the ball was coming to. He knew it was coming towards him. He saw the man running towards the ball. He was in a great vantage position to take care of that situation. And he stood there and lazily stretched out his leg. If I'm Pep Guardiola, it's from that place that you will sit on. It's from there. I'll just, it was after they scored the goal that they blew the final whistle. It's from there you will go and play with the junior team. You are kuku young. And since you have no discipline or no ambition at this age, you have no hope. From there, you will start training with the B team. It's that simple. Very catastrophic defending by them for all those goals. So I understand Pep Guardiola's frustration because there's a limit to what you can do. You can choose the players to play. You can draw the strategy. But if somebody is lazily just stretching out his leg for a ball that he should have gotten his whole body in position to defend, then there's not much you can do. It's down to personnel at this point in time. And so Manchester City have no other person to blame but themselves for those three goals. Erling Haaland, on the other hand, had a great day. He scored his goals. They gave him penalty, he scored. Ball came to him, he scored. You cannot blame him for the loss. Even if you don't want to pay anybody salary, you must pay him his salary with bonus because of the brace. So
he did his job at the end of the day.
He did his job at the end of the day. So tough night for Manchester City. To go to Madrid and try to turn this around will be a miracle tantamount to that of walking on water. So I think at this point in time, they should just focus on other things because it's done.
Looks like it's done after the first leg, but this is football. Anything can happen. In this case,
All right.
let's take a quick break. When we come back in, we'll head over to France and talk about a certain Ousmane Dembele scoring 2 goals last night, and of course his extracurricular activities, if I can put it that way. Keep it tuned. This is Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired that after that first break, I'm just like, when am I going to sleep? It's not like I did anything. I can't remember the kind of manual labor I did. I'm just tired today.
I still have Lagos talks to do. So rest yet.
Congratulations. You have coffee now.
I do actually.
So enjoy your coffee
Mm.
and try to stay awake for the next 2 hours because you still need to drive home.
Funnily enough, driving home, I did awake about for driving. No, there's no problem driving home. But usually in the mornings when I come, I'm like, oh, more. I first of all sleep for like half an hour, then I come up, and I faff around
Yeah.
and all that. But like, sleepy, man. I'm sleepy. I need a
So,
break.
so that coming in the morning, when I get to the office, I'm just like, I'm going to sleep. I'm just going. You know how I walk into the office? Like, if you don't give me a chair now, I will fall on the floor and sleep. You know, when I climb when I take that my position, I don't sleep off immediately. I still have to get myself to sleep.
I
So
can
sometimes
imagine.
it's really just in the mind.
Yes, sir.
It's all in the mind.
All right, let's head back in. All right, welcome back into the locker room on a hump of the week Wednesday morning on Smooth 98.1. This is the Smooth Breakfast. My name is Ayokunmi Kekireakun. Tega is also in with me on this one. We're taking a look at the sporting action. We've been talking about the Champions League. Before we get back into the stories, though, we'd love to hear from you, and you can send those your thoughts to us in on WhatsApp. That's one way. The number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. The studio line is 0201 4489981. 0201 4489981. And on YouTube, you can join the live stream and put your comments there as well at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, still talking about the Champions League. We're heading into France, Tega, where Ousmane Dembele kept up his remarkable form in front of goal with a double as Paris Saint-Germain. PSG took a big step toward qualifying for the last 16 of the Champions League with a 3-0 manhandling of French rivals Brest in the first leg of their playoff.
Exactly, literal manhandling, which is what was disappointing for me, because it's a French derby, so you know each other. And Brest has had a season that they can be proud of. Don't get me wrong, because when Brest started, nobody thought they were going to, show up like this,
Mm,
especially in the Champions League. However, you're playing against a Paris Saint-Germain side. They are familiar foes. So the fact that you get into this fixture and you concede 3 goals in the first leg at home is one of the most ridiculous things. And especially against Ousmane Dembele, he scores against Brest every other market day. So the one person that you should be looking out for to try and defend is Ousmane Dembele. And please, nobody should tell me about his pace, because as fast as he has lost some pace over the years through injury. And
mm,
so the goals that he scored, it was just Brest not taking care of business and Ousmane latching onto the ball, to put the ball in the back of the net. So twice he was able to do that. The second goal, he literally uh, wriggled his way or bamboozled his way onto the ball to stick it in the back of the net. So yeah, as much as we didn't expect a lot from Brest, when they got here in the form that they are currently in as a club, they shouldn't have lost by 3 goals to nil. Just made the second leg of no consequence. And this is what I was talking about when the UCL draws came out. I was like, yeah, the league side of the Champions League started looking exciting in the middle. But at the end of the day, the result is still the same. The teams that progressed to the next round, are the teams that were knocked out, were the teams that are expected to be knocked out, the smaller teams. And even from the first leg so far of the Champions League, the teams that have lost are the teams that are expected to lose. There's no, it's not, it's not exciting anymore. So as much as they changed the system, as much as they tweaked it, it's the same result. Where's the excitement that UEFA promised me? I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for my popcorn moment, and I
mm.
haven't seen it. Mm.
Well, it's still a long way to go. You just might get that popcorn moment. And just before I leave the particular story, just to compound Brest issues here, they haven't beaten PSG in any competition in 40 years,
I
and
say they cannot.
they've
And
lost
Usmani
18
Dem
of their last 19 against them.
and Usmani Dembele has been enjoying in the most recent ones to make it even. That's the one guy you should have targeted. Do it like Greece, Czech Republic in Euro 2000, right? Was it Euro 2000 or Euro 2004?
I think it was
Just take
2004.
out, just take out the Pavel Nedved of the team and live your life. Sometimes you need to play dirty against a team you've struggled against. You can't try to match them football for football. You obviously do not have the quality.
True story. True story.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Still talking about the Champions League here. Brendan Rodgers said a glamour Champions League playoff tie against Bayern Munich is the stage he wanted for Celtic and is determined to make the German Giants fight for a place in the last 16. Rodgers talking tough. Bayern, you
The
know
other,
who's going to show up.
yeah, and that's the thing. The only reason that he can make this kind of statement and he will hold any water is because Vice Company is coach, and with Vice Company, there's that struggle. However, he's right that they will have to fight for it. I still think that Bayern Munich will come out tops in this one. They have too many quality players that know what they are doing. To be reduced to waiting for coaching strategy and tactics to beat a team like Celtic. And so, whether you talk from paper or you talk from the football that we've watched of both teams in the Champions League, despite Bayern's struggle, they've been able to come out in flying colors when they needed to, and so that for me is what gives them the edge over Celtics. Brandon Rogers is a more experienced coach than Vincent Company, so there was always going to be that um, advantage eroded for Bayern Munich. However, the players on the pitch are soldiers. They know
Mm,
what to do in the moment when they need to do it. And because of that on pitch advantage, it'll be tough for me to see Celtics going through. But Celtics can make it a little bit exciting. The same way Manchester City made it exciting for me yesterday by at least showing up because we already said they were going to lose.
exactly.
They just made how they were going to lose a little more interesting. So Celtics can make it a little more interesting by at least putting up a fight. But this looks like Bayern is going to take it. But I'd be open to any surprises. Like I said, I'm still waiting for the entertainment UEFA promised me. So maybe this is the match that will give me that entertainment.
Don't worry, Tega, it's loading. Just be patient. As they used to say, the patient dog eats the fattest bone. Well, that was centuries
The
ago.
impatient one eats the fattest meat. So
Okay, let's keep the energy in the Champions League. Let's talk about Feyenoord because they have a new interim manager. That's Pascal Bouchard, and he has had little time to prepare for Wednesday's Champions League clash against AC Milan after being parachuted into the job at the Dutch club on Monday, following the firing of Brian Prisker.
yes, was such an auspicious time. Oh, that sounds like Z-World. But yeah, it was an auspicious time to fire your coach, knowing that the playoffs for the knockout of UEFA Champions League was coming up. And the fact that he was able to pull off some brilliant comeback against Manchester City couldn't save him because when you think about it, ultimately, they're like everybody's beating Manchester City, so you didn't really do anything fantastic. Um, and he was fired. It is too. He was fired because of the performance, but it's still too soon to get a replacement, and so they have to go into this fixture, kind of in limbo. And I think that's how their fixture is going to turn out to be in limbo. Um, but all they need to do is survive this first leg, and we'll see how it works out for them. It's the same way if we're going to get to that story. Juventus against PSV yesterday. Juventus got a narrow win to go through, but PSV was in that tie at 1-1 until Juventus got the winner. So if Feyenoord can just stay in the tie till the second leg, it will be a great one for them.
Most definitely. Before we talk about PSV and Juventus, though, let's make a detour and talk about what transpired in the FA Cup yesterday between Exeter and Nottingham Forest. A much changed Nottingham Forest side needed penalties to beat 10-man Exeter City in the fourth round of the FA Cup. They locked that 2-2 even after extra time. But Forest ran out 4-2 winners on the spot on spot kicks against the League One side.
Yeah, that was really ridiculous from Nottingham Forest, and I don't care that you've changed a lot of players. Nottingham Forest is we don't talk about it a lot, but remember last season when they were buying everybody available on the market, they also have an extended locker room, just like Chelsea. So to come out with against Exeter that was a man down and not be able to win that match was one of the most ridiculous things. The good news for them is that they stuck through. But again, this is the FA Cup. I say it's as if there's a sprinkling of magic in the FA Cup. Teams
Mm,
just come to the FA Cup and they develop wings and start to fly. Um, they may struggle when it comes to the business end, maybe if they get to the semi-finals or the final. But at this stage, anybody is literally open to an upset. And I did think I was going to get one last night. Um, but fortunately for Nottingham Forest, they were able to come through via penalty shootout. And of course, lessons are going to be learned, and they're going to probably perform better in their next round. But it was strange to see them struggling, especially with the numerical advantage. Let's not even talk about the league ranking. The
true.
numerical advantage alone should have given them something. So it was good outing by Exeter. Um, Not so great outing by Nottingham Forest. Ultimately, the results came down to it, and so let's see. That's the magic of the FA Cup. I shouldn't be surprised, but every once in a while, Plymouth against Liverpool comes up, and you're still surprised.
Most definitely. Okay, let's talk about Juventus as was promised. Really quick, let's sneak this one in. Samuel Mbangula registered late to give Juventus a slender advantage over PSV in their Champions League knockout phase playoff, a 2-1 win for the old lady of Turin.
And I think this is one of the things that have happened to Juventus this season. The inexperience of Thiago Motta at such a level. He was doing so well at Bologna. They're like, okay, if we gave him a better team, a better placed team, he'll be able to pull off some major work. But he seems to have been overwhelmed by the class of the team that he is now at. It's like the job is a little bigger than him. He needs more
Hmm.
experience in managing games, especially. And you see games where they play expansive, expressive football, they create chances, and they still end up drawing those games. Too many draws this season. Last night could have been another draw, but for this winner. So in all of it, despite the fact that at some point yesterday it looked like PSV were living on a prayer, they still managed to come back to 1-1 draw until that winner came in, and because of that inexperience from Thiago Motta, and then he has a young team too, so not a lot of experienced player, is the reason I still think that PSV have a chance to go through in this tie. They're playing at home next, so let's
Yes,
see
they are.
how they can take. Yeah, let's see how they can take advantage of that. On paper, Juventus should still come through, but the inexperience of the team gives PSV a look in.
Hmm. All right, let's take your messages as we get along. And this is from Bimbo in Via and says, Tega, are you saying that Dembele loves breasts like Mickey Richards and my humble self? Well, you love the French team as well. Well, I know Dembele loves them because he loves scoring against them. So I guess you all are in the same boat
Yeah, we are going to
there.
we are going to pretend like you're talking about the team.
Uh, it is the team he's talking about, as far as I'm concerned. AY Oniru says Man City had that game within their grasp, but they threw it away. They threw it all away. Such nonchalant defending and without any urgency whatsoever. And Madrid rightfully punished them for it. As for Ederson, what I have to say about him is not radio friendly, so I reserve my comments. Thank you for
But
putting us
Ederson
into
wanted to go
consideration.
to Saudi Arabia now. You people now said they shouldn't go. So now they are going to offload him to because Saudi Arabia came for him. People were saying European football, top level football. We should have allowed the Brazilian to go and collect his pension. Now you are reaping the fruits of your bad advice.
It is well. Mountain Lion says, or Mountain, is it Mountain? Yeah, Mountain Lion says, Tega is so spot on the City versus Madrid game. It was not that Madrid won the game, but that City lost the game. It was not what Madrid did, but what City didn't do. Catastrophic defending was City's undoing. Thank you for cracking us up, Tega. Your sense of humor is not here. Mohammed says, Tega, nobody did Perez dirty. Red Bull always goes young. I didn't even know that Perez is a veteran, like Ayo said. Most second drivers always keep their heads low and follow hierarchy until your time comes. Just like the second driver for Mercedes under Hamilton, he was professional till they allowed him to win the Drivers' Championship, and he immediately retired afterwards because he knew he couldn't compete with Hamilton. I think his name was Bottas, yes, Valtteri Bottas.
No. Nico Rosberg was the one that he's
Was,
talking about.
oh,
But
it's what he
yeah,
was talking about.
yeah,
Okay.
that would have won the championship. But Nico Rosberg did not take a position in the hierarchy behind Hamilton. Nico Rosberg had been racing with Lewis Hamilton from when they were little boys, and Hamilton has been beating him. It was not hierarchy that determined Hamilton won those championships. It was talent. I need people to stop making this, putting these claims out there. From when they were little boys, I think from when they were 8 or 9, Lewis Hamilton has been beating Nico Rosberg. He beat Nico Rosberg too much that even now that when Nico Rosberg pretends to be Hamilton's friend, it still shows that there's envy. So let's not say agenda, because even in the Mercedes stuff, Toto Wolff was more supporting Nico Rosberg um, over Lewis Hamilton, which is why they changed his drivers in the year that Nico Rosberg won it. So it's not agenda. It was not hierarchy that determined that Lewis won the championships. It was talent. They have beaten Nico Rosberg to when he was small. They didn't need agenda to beat him as an adult. And Lewis had already won a championship before he came to Mercedes. Nico Rosberg still hadn't. So please, I want to address that agenda so we don't repeat it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me go over to YouTube because time has actually flown by. Uche Nwoko says PSG really looks like a UCL champion contender, well balanced than before. Pep and City cannot defend to save a soul. Seems like they will go trophyless this season. Patrick Payo says it's UCL for a reason. We watched the finals last night. Seems to me other matches going forward will be anticlimactic. 85th minute, Man City 2, Madrid 1 full time, City 2, Madrid 3. This life. And I have heard that says Erling Haaland finally stepped up in a big match in the UCL, scoring 2 solid goals, but unfortunately, his teammates were not interested in winning that game against Madrid last night. All right.
All
Thank you
right.
for all the
Thank you so
messages.
much for sending your messages via WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming via YouTube. Thank you for listening to us on Smooth 98.1 FM. Till we come your way again on Friday. Hopefully, there'll be more excitement this time in the Champions League. Have a great one. And remember, Merseyside Derby is tonight. Can Everton stop Liverpool? Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. They'll take something from Plymouth doing it. Maybe they can. We'll see at the end of 90 minutes. Thank you so much, Tega. Have a great rest of your week. See you on Friday. And thank you all for being a part of the locker room this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast. Lagos Talks will come up at 9. We'll have a great conversation coming your way.